I am Lyle Taylor. Didn't know anything about them. Really, really bad Achilles pain. Chronic. In the morning I struggle getting up and walking. It takes me ages. I'm walking on the outside of my feet and I'm like tentative. I slept in the first night. The next morning I got out of bed, I ran down my stairs, I ran back up my stairs. And these are unbelievable. I said, I don't know what is in these. This doesn't make sense to me. I have felt the benefits of it. Game changer.
So if you could introduce yourself, who you are, what you do.
So I am Lyle Taylor. I have had many years playing professional football, and I am now at Chelmsford, continuing my trade in my senior years.
And how are you finding playing at Chelmsford?
I'm really enjoying it. In football's kind of stripped back at this level to what the football we grew up playing was about. So it's different, and there's not all of the nuance that you get in terms of the things that happen in Football League and in the higher levels. It is very much what this game was built on and the reason that we got into football as kids. And I'm really enjoying the fact that it's so much simpler. Psychologically, it's so much simpler. And I've been received really well by the football club and the fans and the group, so I can't complain at all.
Would you say you're happier now, playing now, than you have been?
I'd say I am as happy as I have been playing football.
Interesting.
And I think that's probably the most important thing.
For sure. So, in regards to resonance, who sent you some socks?
So Liam George, a good friend of mine, sent me a pair of socks and a pair of gloves, and they just came in a package. And I didn't know anything about them. Obviously, there was no branding on them other than the cross, the X, no wording, no nothing. So I was like, okay. So I took them out of the packaging and I was like, oh, they must be. I've got a friend of mine who sends me gloves and socks and stuff like that anyway. So I was like, oh, they must be from them. Put them in the cupboard. I thought they'll get used for dog walking in the winter. Perfect. And I got a message about a week later from Liam. And he said, did you get the socks and gloves? And I was like, oh, they're from you. He went, yes, Lyle, we had a conversation about this months ago. Liam, I don't know what I did last week, mate, let alone months ago. So he said to me, he said, try them, because at the time I was on my way back from I had a really, really bad calf injury. I had over 30 centimetres of tears from the top of my Achilles through my soleus and through my gastroc. So I had a really significant injury, and I was struggling with like really, really bad Achilles pain, chronic like tendonitis pain and issues within the muscle tissue. So he said to me, he said, well, I'd already said to him, look, in the morning I struggle getting up and walking. It takes me ages. I'm walking on the outside of my feet and I'm like tentative. He said, try and wear them in bed. I said, okay, fine. I slept in them the first night, and the next morning I got out of bed, I walked to my stairs, I ran down my stairs, I ran back up my stairs. I picked my phone up and I messaged Liam. I said, Liam, these are unbelievable. I said, I don't know what is in these, but this doesn't make sense to me. And he said, keep wearing them. So I did, and religiously now, I never slept in socks, ever, ever, ever. I always like my feet out, and I don't like having hot feet. And I religiously sleep in them now. And I mean, they're downstairs at the moment.
Missing them.
And I once you guys start making grip socks, I'm never going to have anything else on my feet. Yeah. So. And
with that injury, obviously the stiff Achilles, the pain, you've probably been wearing them now, what, 2 months, maybe?
Yeah,
maybe a bit longer.
Possibly a little bit more, yeah.
A little bit longer.
Maybe
and
3, yeah.
Is that, would you say that's gone now? It comes back, or?
It comes back because I'm still obviously playing and training, so I'm still disrupting the area and causing inflammation and whatever in the area. But if I don't have the socks on, like today, where I'll put them back on when I get out of the shower, as soon as I get home, I go upstairs, I get changed, I put my socks on, I put my Ugg slippers on, and that is me. And I don't foresee a future in which that changes because I have felt the benefits of it. So why would I take that away? I've already done my own little bit of testing at home where I went for a few days without wearing them and I felt horrendous.
Did you?
So if I wear them and I feel good and I don't wear them and I feel bad, it's
That's
pretty
your
cut
answer.
and dry for me.
That's your answer. And how about in terms of playing? So we was talking earlier, you wear the gloves in some games and after a game, you said you're feeling a bit less fatigued or?
Yeah, so what I will do is I wear my socks before the game and I'll put them on as soon as I've showered after the game. And I feel, don't get me wrong, I feel pain. Of course, you've played 90 minutes of football. I'm a little bit older than I was. I'm a little bit probably more run down physically than I was before. But I feel less pain when I'm able to wear the gloves and get my socks on straight after than I do otherwise. And I've also done those tests of, okay, well, there's been games where I can't wear the gloves because you look like a bit of an idiot. It's 20 degrees outside. You can't be running around in gloves. And there's been games where I've not worn my socks on purpose after the game just to see how I feel. And those days I feel worse.
Yeah. And tell us about the goal you scored. Because you had the gloves on for that goal. And that's arguably, because I remember messaging you a couple of weeks before you scored a really good free kick.
Yeah.
I said, "There's that got to be one of your best goals?" And then following that, that's...
Yeah, it was the goalie had the ball in his hands and he's on the edge of his box and I've made a movement and made a movement to get in behind and he has launched it and he's landed it right on the edge of their box and it didn't bounce. I've taken it over my shoulder, brought it down and thankfully the touch was good enough. It allowed me to just slide it past the goalie. It was Route 1 football.
But that's got to be your best goal. Has to be.
I think from a technical standpoint, yeah, because it's hard enough to control the ball. It's really hard to control the ball from 70 yards away.
From a goal kick.
It's really hard to control the ball from 70 yards away over your shoulder with two defenders, get pushed and manage to keep your wits about you and still slot that ball into the back of the net. So yeah, I think from a technical standpoint, it probably is the best one I've scored.
So how do you think, obviously your experience with Resonance, wearing it, how do you think for athletes, all kind of sports people, how do you think they'll best benefit from it? From recovery, from performance, or a bit of both? I
think from a recovery standpoint, it is very helpful. Obviously that Monday night we played, when I scored that goal, we'd played Saturday afternoon, Monday night. And literally from the minute I got out of the shower here, I had my base layers that you'd done for me.
Yep.
I had those on. I slept in them. I slept on a grounding mat as well. I had my socks on. I had the works. No, honestly. Because I looked at it and went, how am I going to play for the first time, not even Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Monday, when I've not played Saturday, Tuesday in probably 7 months. I've had this massive injury. I've had no pre-season. I've had a start to my time here in terms of the times and my availability for training because of where we were training on AstroTurf and stuff like that. So I did over that period of time, I think it was 55 hours between the games. In that time, I started the game on the Saturday to finishing the game on the Monday night was 55 hours. And in between those two games, I didn't take the base layers that you guys have sorted for me off, other than to shower. And in terms of recovery, I think that is massive. It allowed me to play 80 minutes and 80 minutes at a physical level that I was really happy with. So I have reaped the rewards in terms of recovery and in terms of pain inhibition. I think in terms of football, it's harder to measure strength because football is so variable. But if it gave me 10% in recovery, if it gave me 5% in strength, then I'd be stupid not to wear it. And that is how I feel about products. And I'll be honest, if if I could force the football club to have an all black kit made by yourselves, then I would.
Right, if you could describe Resonance in one word.
Can it be a hyphenated word?
Yeah.
Game changer.
Game changer. We've had that before. Second time. One sentence. Resonance in one sentence.
It's made my body feel better.
Nice. And who do you think in the world, not just sports, would benefit the most from wearing Resonance?
I think the reason you founded the company and the reason you started the company is one of the most admirable stories I've heard, and take sport out of it, because we're fortunate enough to do what we do and be physically capable and able. I think those who are physically less able and would see even greater benefits from this are probably the most important people that get to use your products.